I'm, I'm ill, but I've already done all the prep for this video, so I'm gonna film it, and it's gonna be out on time. Also, this shirt, I got it from my mum for me to wear for Mother's Day, but in today's video, it will be in honor of the Pitt's mother, Dana Evans. Okay, so for this episode, I'm going to be focusing on two scenes between two different pairs of characters, the roomies and the work spouses. So let's start off with the pair that started off a bit rough, but have ended rather nicely, I think. So these two have been living together now for 10 months, and we still haven't gotten to know a whole ton about them as a pair, but I also think they haven't gotten to know each other as a pair yet. The biggest piece of information we have about them is that Whittaker stays out of the flat most of the time, but this episode we've gotten a little bit more, and I am living for it. But first, since we're talking about it, I need to have a little rant because there's a detail that keeps just coming up and I'm so confused about it. Do people know that Whittaker was homeless? I don't know what I wrote there. Who knows homeless situation? Yeah. I must have been tired. If we go back to episode 8, I am so sure that Robbie doesn't know about Whittaker's houseless era. Don't call it that. The homeless time. But in this episode, we get this moment with Joy.
On account of you secretly living in the hospital for months.
What?
So she knows. How does she know? Is it a rumor that's spreading around? If so, why did it take 10 months to start? And if it started earlier, why doesn't Robbie know about it? Now, if I'm being honest with myself, there's a bunch of answers to all these little questions. Maybe Robbie does know, but he was just trying to be polite and not really point it out. But then why wouldn't Whittaker correct him? Maybe he's just embarrassed and it's this unspoken thing between him and Robbie. But then when Joy calls him out, he doesn't even act a little bit embarrassed. He barely even denies it.
It wasn't months.
Still waiting on.
Is he not surprised that she knows? Why isn't he surprised that she knows? Who told her? I don't know if I'm just being a bit dense, but goddamn. This is taking up too much of my brain. It's such a small thing. And I mean, it could just be a mistake in the script or something. I don't want to put bad faith on the writers. Mistakes happen, continuity, whatever, it's fine. It's just, I need to know if it's a mistake or not, or if it's just badly written. I don't know, I need an answer by the end of the season. If anyone watching has any insight, please God tell me. Last episode, some people commented to help out with what's Lexapro and all that, and that's really useful. If anyone picked up any other details about this aspect of his life, I need to know, okay? Because I'm gonna go crazy. But going back to the roomies, each of them get these little individual moments that kind of build up the tension within themselves before they have their scene together. Santos is the one to inform some of the other doctors about Emma's attack, but she seems really, apathetic to it and obviously very tired. And then Whittaker's calling Amy at some point to let her know that he's going to be a bit late leaving work, which is nice to see that he's not, cutting her off completely. That would be kind of crazy. But I am sad to know that he's probably not going to be with Santos tonight and she's going to be by herself. Don't do that. Whittaker, stay home please. Speaking of Santos, she is also informed about Whittaker's offer for a new living situation by Robbie in a kind of very flippant way, which normally I wouldn't get annoyed at him about, but with Santos's reaction and how my personal feelings were hurt, I'm gonna give him half a point for Michael moments. Also, it helps me round off that half a point that's been there for 4 weeks. And now finally we start off with the scene, which begins with the biggest mood shift from me and my girlfriend watching this. Oh, out of the sauna, baby. I'm feeling rejuvenated. Uh-oh.
No!
What's happening? Stop it!
No!
And then we get pain, and more pain as Santos opens up to Whittaker about what is actually getting to her about Langdon being back, followed by the best moment in the entire show. This is all I've wanted all season. Thank you, writers.
Admit that you like having me as your roommate.
And I'd just like to actually show my appreciation for once for Whitaker actually having a good day, because it means he can be there for Santos properly. Santos does quite a heavy unload onto him, and he doesn't try and fix it, and he doesn't, God forbid, belittle or dismiss her feelings. He acknowledges it and he sympathizes with her. Then, when she voices the hurt that he's caused her, he basically clears it up immediately. Miscommunication trope. Who? That bitch lasted 4 episodes at a max. Ugh, I love it. He all but says he won't move out if she doesn't want him to. And he even manages to lighten the mood a little with a little banter. Now, Santos's response does make me think a little bit.
You are such a fuckleberry. Have fun with Robbie's plants.
I mean, in the moment, I loved it. It's very in line with their relationship so far. But a small, very anxious part of my brain is like, she didn't say that she didn't want him to move out. Now, it's pretty clear to us that she's not saying it because that is below her. A woman like this does not concede to a man like that. But we also don't see Whitaker's reaction. We just hold on Javadi in the background, saying what we're all thinking.
You have no idea how much joy that just brought me.
But I really couldn't tell you if not seeing Whitaker's reaction is a good thing or a bad thing for the roomies. On one hand, it could just be that our initial assumption of the scene is correct. Whitaker was just teasing, and he now has no intention of moving out. So why waste precious time showing his reaction to Santos storming off? Or, says the anxious part of my brain, the director, cinematographer, editor, whoever, wanted to keep his reaction a secret so that his doubt of their roomie status could be jumped on us later. If you see what I mean? Like, if we saw his reaction and he had this, like, you know, kicked puppy face that he likes to sport, we'd all be like, oh no, he thinks that they're actually gonna move out, or that Santos doesn't actually like him, and blah 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 blah. But right now, we're kind of like, it's, you know, we think it's good. So if that's the direction they want to go with it, they could. You know? This is off script. Maybe cut this. Okay, I did not explain this well. What I'm trying to say is that by not showing us Whitaker's reaction, they're relying on our biases and the general tone of the scene to fill in the gaps, aka that Whitaker didn't take this seriously. But since we don't know that for sure, the writers could show us later that this moment did affect Whitaker, and he may think that Santos doesn't want to live with them anymore. Okay? Now, I do think and hope that this is a long shot. This season hasn't been focused on Whitaker like it has with, like, Mohan, Mel, or Santos. So introducing a plotline of him being insecure about his relationship with Santos in the last leg of the season does seem a little bit ambitious. But we do have a season 3 confirmed, so the writers have a lot more freedom to let storylines stay open at the end of season 2. Going into season 3. I'm kind of talking myself in circles with this, it feels like. Basically, I think there's like a 60-40 chance that the roomies are gonna be fine enough by the end of season 2. But there's always a chance. What we do know is that Whitaker has Santos's back, and in her own way, Santos has Whitaker's. We just need them to tell each other that. Okay, next up, we're gonna chat about Dana and Robbie. Now, these two have a lot to say about each other this episode, starting with how Dana handled Emma's attack. She's fine, by the way. Guessed it right, she's fine. The Pitt did this thing that it loves to do, where it didn't actually show us Dana's rescue mission. We just see her enter the room with fucking rage in her eyes. Followed by Robbie a few minutes later, once the patient is, like, restrained and Emma's out of imminent danger. Lipstick is getting cold. This allows us and Robbie to piece together what happened from Dana's explanation and context clues. As he does this, Robbie's also, like, grilling Dana for attacking the patient, which Dana is not happy about. And neither am I. And neither is anyone. Everyone's like, chill the fuck out. It's fine, don't worry about it. Sometimes I worry that I'm, like, too much on Robbie's side. The two go back and forth a few times. Dana defends her actions. Robbie tries to get her to admit that she's being paranoid by carrying around a glass vial of sedative or whatever it was. And then Dana fucking spins it right back around to him, calling him out on his intentions for the sabbatical and just his overall behavior. Side note, we also get a scene of Dana going into the bathroom and having a little breakdown, you know, as deserved, which again put some distance between us and Robbie as we grow a little bit closer to Dana. I don't think we saw her like this at all last season. We never get a moment in season 1 with her by herself having a breakdown, I don't think. But we've gone quite a few this season with her in the bathroom now and in the room with the sexual assault victim. Just interesting. It's an interesting observation. Who knows what it means? All of these conversations culminate into a final scene with them both in the ambulance bay, and oh my god, guys, this scene was so good. It's so fun to watch two really good actors get given some dialogue and just shout it at each other, you know? These characters are both at their wits' end. Robbie's trying to reach out to Dana and give her some advice, but Dana doesn't want to fucking hear it, because why should she take self-care advice from walking suicide risk Robbie? Is that insensitive? But this scene also helped me acknowledge something interesting about Robbie's character. Dana calls out Robbie for wanting to leave the pit as soon as possible, but thinking he needs to stay because he's really needed here and it'll collapse without him.
First you can't stay, now you can't go. What is it, Rabinovich?
She tells him, hey, we'll survive without you, and then walks away. And we see Robbie with this look of acceptance, or like, kind of introspection, I guess. It's hard to... I'm not good with faces. It seems like he's really taking this to heart. This whole time, Robbie has been complaining about not being able to leave, but also looking for reasons to stay. And I think this statement that the pit doesn't actually need him really rattles Robbie. Not long after, Al-Hashimi gives Robbie the go-ahead to leave whenever he needs to, because the computer system's gonna get rebooted and everything seems to be settling down a bit. But then seconds later, Robbie zeroes in on Duke being taken to his CT and is like,
free to go. Hey, I told you I would get you up there, and I promise I'm not leaving until you're back and sent packing.
And even Duke's like, nah, man, I'm in line, I'm going, I'm getting it now. You can leave whenever you want. Now that we're nearing the end of the season, I think it's coming to a decision point from Robbie. Does he stay in hell, where he's needed but miserable, or does he go and never come back? I think he feels trapped between two choices. Duke says to him, you're worried if you don't leave now, you never will. But I think he also thinks that if he leaves now, he won't ever come back. Like ripping off a plaster that's been on your body for too long. It's gonna hurt to come off, but once it's off, you can't stick it back on. But then if you leave it on for too long, it'll like get gross under there. I don't know. The metaphor doesn't really extend that far. I do kind of feel bad for Robbie this season, because I think from his perspective, he's been getting, like, mixed signals from everyone. I mean, his whole vibe has been, I will sprinkle in the fact that I'm suicidal, and then everyone clocking him on it. McKay had a moment with him, sort of trying to talk him down from the ledge. Santos leaves him with a go with God, and also kind of clocks him on the Latin shit they're talking about.
More fati.
More like memento mori.
Abbott's clocked it, Dennis has clocked it, even Duke is like, hey man, this is a bad idea. But at the same time, everyone's like, don't worry dude, we'll be fine, go take your break. Everyone else knows that there's a third option. Robbie goes and takes a break and then comes back. But I don't think that this is computing in Robbie's mind. He can't imagine that this sabbatical will actually make him feel better about his life and make him want to come back. Which is fair. When you've been in as dark a hole as he's been in for the past 6 years now, I can imagine it's pretty hard to remember a time when you weren't in it. And if I'm being honest, I don't really know how Robbie's going to get himself out of this one. I'm still kind of hedging my bets on Langdon being the one to help him, because they haven't really had a chance to actually talk to each other. Maybe they bring back Jake, and that helps kick something into gear. But at this point, Dana's got too much on her plate. Abbott tried to help, but it didn't really hit the mark. Maybe Whitaker could help like he did in season 1, but that help only really seemed to last for like that shift and definitely didn't help in the long run. I could maybe see, if we set up the right circumstances, Santos getting through to him. I mean, these two are basically direct parallels of each other.
This place sucks.
Tell me about it. Try working here.
I'm starting to feel like a hostage in this place.
How do you think I feel?
Both are struggling with forms of self-worth, both have beef with Langdon, and we've seen that they've grown quite close over the past 10 months. Or, no one helps, Robbie crashes his bike about 3 minutes into a sabbatical and comes back to the pit to haunt it as a ghost. This could also happen. Okay, I really don't know what's gonna happen at the end of this show. That's why I love it so much. The way they write out these arcs feel like a really well-written mystery. We have all of the groundwork laid in front of us, every clue and hint about what's gonna happen, but enough is obfuscated that we don't actually know what the conclusion will be. This is probably helped by the fact that even the characters don't really know what they're gonna do. Robbie doesn't know if he's leaving or not, Santos doesn't know how Garcia feels about her, or if Whitaker's moving out, Dana doesn't know how to protect her nurses. No one knows what they're doing, except for Joy. She's going home, as she should. Alright, it's on to the next bit. Everyone's favourite bit. We're done talking about the important stuff that happened this episode. We're gonna talk about the little stuff that happened this episode. Yay! I ran out of the paper I was using, so I've started cutting it out from my sketchbooks. So Al-Hashmi wants to suggest that they have 2 attendings on the day shift in the pit, which could mean that she's coming back for season 3, or maybe we get like a new attending, or maybe someone else in the pit gets promoted. I mean, obviously there's Langdon, which would be awkward as hell. Maybe Mohan? I don't know, like, I don't know who's like able to be promoted. I think Langdon's probably the closest, but I don't think it's a bad idea at all to have 2 attendings. I think the night shift doesn't it? There's Abbott and Shen is also an attending. Granted, he's newer at it, but I'm pretty sure he's an attending. So, if Robbie can learn to play nice and not put all of his value on being the most important person in the ER, then it could be a great idea. Also, in the conversation that she suggests this, she finds out about Langdon stealing from the pit, and I'm trying to decide if she was fishing for a confirmation of what she already knew, or if she actually just didn't know. Because when Santos says that Santos was the one who turned in Langdon for taking meds, I don't know if that's a damning enough sentence to immediately jump to he's stealing from the hospital. It could just mean that he was on drugs. Also, Robbie never actually confirms that that's what was happening, which, if you ask me, is an insane thing to keep from the person replacing you. I mean, I understand why, but she also should know this stuff about her staff. Mohan is a bit more assertive about her patient care. I think she's basically trying to prove herself, which she never needs to do, she's great. But unfortunately, Robbie throws this back in her face by making a reference to the slow-mo nickname. Robbie, you're making it harder and harder for me to like you. Emma is staying. Love that. She never quits. We love her so much. She is God's toughest soldier. McKay hasn't cried in, like, forever, but she does want to. Langdon tries to help her with this.
You want a hug?
It doesn't go well. But she does struggle with her emotions like basically everyone in the pit, despite how great she does otherwise. Javadi is posting the TikTok of Jesse's arrest. So we better get an update on that man's freedom as soon as possible. Free my man, he did fucking nothing wrong. I spilled my pins again. I'm sick. Be nice to me, I'm sick. Monica, the clerk who was brought in to help out with, like, the power outage stuff, is, like, a comical baby boomer and probably conservative. She is mean to Javadi, so the sooner she's fucking gone, the better. Okay. As I mentioned before, Joy sets her boundaries and she leaves as soon as her shift is done, which is just as Shen arrives. It's like an I don't give a fuck trade-off. It's beautiful. Their combined lack of energy is too powerful for them both to be in the pit at once. Okay, once an episode, I simply must have a kind of insane theory that I'm just gonna put out there just in case. But Duke is now being taken care of by Nurse Vivi? The nurse with the cool hair who couldn't read the doctor's handwriting? Now, is there a chance that this means she's gonna fuck up something in Duke's chart. Like if she misreads it or whatever. Probably not, because that feels insane. These feel like they're meant to be two separate moments, and they just used the same nurse to help with, like, you know, making this place seem real, I guess. But I've always learned that it pays to be extra paranoid. So I'm gonna be paranoid about it. Also, Matteo is back. Yay. He is back, and he is flirting with Giovanni. You go, girl. Get that dick. This is a family show. I shouldn't be saying that. Also, I want to do a quick count of the people who are staying and the people who are going. Because we're getting to, like, the start of the night shift, end of the day shift. So I think it's good to keep track. Like, last season, everyone was staying. Everyone was coming in, you know. But this time, it's not that big of a deal right now. If people leave, there's not a mass casualty event right now. It's just a bit of a mess. Okay, so Joy is left. Princess is meant to be leaving, but I don't think we've seen her walk through the doors yet, so I don't know. I'm gonna put it over here, but McKay technically is meant to be leaving potentially sooner than the others because she has that date at the museum at 8. Date. And Abbott has yet to show up, which I'm mostly pointing out because he's usually pretty, like, on top of being in there. And the fact that Shen's gotten here before Abbott has makes me think that maybe he, like, slept in a bit, but I might be dead wrong. He might just, I don't know shit, you know, but he's not here yet. And I'm gonna put Ogilvy in the middle because he wasn't in this episode at all because he was up at surgery with that guy who's like his dad or whatever. So he's probably going to turn up next episode, but he's not here right now. And then Dana and Robbie are staying for a little bit. Shen has also arrived, iced coffee in hand. Do you think the props department has, like, one Dunkin' Donuts cup? Because I swear it's the same amount of coffee in it every single time he enters the screen. It's amazing. Whitaker has let Amy know that he's going to be late leaving, so he is staying for a wee bit longer. I feel like Emma is going to be staying for maybe longer than necessary, because I imagine she wants to, like, prove that she is fine. And then Santos has a shit ton of charting to catch up on, so I think she's also going to be staying for a wee bit longer. All right, that is episode 12. Yeah, I'm certain that I missed a shit ton of stuff in this episode, because, I mean, I barely touched on Mel and Mohan working together. That was really interesting. But unfortunately, my week has been busy, and I cannot afford to add an extra 10 minutes to this episode to talk about whatever they were getting through, you know? I hope we're all excited for the next episode, which I'm potentially putting out on Tuesday. I should be putting out on Tuesday, but honestly, I don't know when it's going to be getting out there. So keep an eye out. Check out my other social media if you want. There's also a link tree in my bio where you can find all of it. Okay, I'll be chatting to you all again next week at some point. I'll see you then. Bye bye.